Military music at Navy Band Great Lakes has a long, rich history. The first musician, a bugler, arrived in 1908 to the then new Naval Training Center, and the band was officially established in 1911 when the first recruits arrived for training. During World War I, the illustrious John Philip Sousa led the band as he trained more than 1,500 musicians for the Navy. Today's members carry on that noble tradition in the spirit of their motto, pride in service. With a wide range of performing ensembles, this talented group of professional military musicians appear in hundreds of parade, concert, school, public, and recruiting performances throughout its 11-state area each year as the Navy's ambassadors to the Midwest. The Commander, Naval Service Training Command, Admiral Stephen C. Evans, is proud to present the men and women of Navy Band Great Lakes. The drum major for today's concert is musician second class Gregory Lopes. And conducting Navy Band Great Lakes is chief musician Daniel Bethel. Another acknowledgement, please, for their outstanding performance this morning. Graduates is underway and will arrive at Midway Ceremonial Hall in just a few moments. Please make sure that all personal items are clear of the aisles and the drill deck. Guests in the balcony are reminded that standing along the rail is prohibited for the remainder of the ceremony. We know that your sailors will have many wonderful and amazing stories for you about their boot camp experience. However, at this time, we offer some video evidence that reveals our side of the story.
Good morning. I'm Rear Admiral Stephen Evans, Commander, Naval Service Training Command, and I welcome you to Naval Station Great Lakes and Recruit Training Command for Recruit Graduation. While this occasion is a chance for you to celebrate your loved one's graduation from our Navy's only boot camp, it is also a celebration of your impact on them as well. Throughout our nation's history, the steadfast support of military families has always been a source of inspiration to all who serve. Your sons, daughters, wives, husbands, and friends had other options than volunteering to serve their country, yet they chose this path. And I join a grateful nation in saying, thank you. None who serve stand alone, and the young men and women who graduate today owe much of their current and future success to family and the outstanding support you provide. I wish to extend my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you who do so much for our Navy family. You are true patriots in so many ways, and your support makes a tremendous difference. You define us, you sustain us, you encourage and reinforce us. So enjoy today's graduation and take pride in this special occasion. I can assure you that this is a day you and our Navy's newest sailors will never forget. Again, my most profound thanks for your support and my most sincere welcome to our Navy family. Welcome aboard.
As the parade of graduates approaches, we salute the states and territories whose sons and daughters will graduate today.
Delaware,
Pennsylvania, New Jersey,
Georgia, Connecticut, Massachusetts,
Maryland,
South Carolina,
New Hampshire,
Virginia, New York,
North Carolina, Rhode Island, Vermont,
Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Louisiana, Indiana,
Mississippi,
Illinois, Alabama, Maine, Missouri,
Arkansas, Michigan,
Florida, Texas, Iowa, Wisconsin,
California, Minnesota,
Oregon, Kansas, West Virginia, Nevada, Nebraska,
Colorado, North Dakota,
South Dakota, Montana, Washington,
Idaho,
Wyoming, Utah,
Oklahoma,
New Mexico, Arizona,
Alaska,
Hawaii, District of Columbia, Puerto Rico,
Guam,
American Samoa, Northern Mariana Islands, Virgin Islands,
state flags, order, arms. And now we invite you to join the staff of Recruit Training Command in welcoming the graduating divisions with your applause as they enter Midway Ceremonial Hall and are announced in the following order.
Please welcome Division 177. Division 178. Division 179. Division 180. Division 181. Division 182. Division 183. Division 184. Division 185. Division 186. Division 814. Today's graduating performing unit is Division 931. Division 931 provides the state flag, color guard, and drumline units for today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Thank you. Divisions. Right. Face. Section leaders, fall out and collect outer garments. Divisions. Counter. March. Divisions, halt.
Prepare for review. At a normal interval, just left, just. Ready, front, left, right, at a close interval, just right, just. Ready, front, right, face, forward, rest.
May I have your attention, please? For the remainder of the review, no one will be permitted to pass in front of the review stand. And we ask this as a courtesy to our reviewing officer. Photography is certainly encouraged, but we ask that you remain seated and off the drill deck. The photographers you will see on deck throughout the review are the official photographers of Recruit Training Command. Division commanders, left or right, face, parade, rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Lieutenant Ian DeSoto, Recruit Training Command's Drill Division Officer. I would like to welcome you to today's Pass and Review. Today, you will see 12 divisions comprised of 792 sailors participate in their graduation ceremony and soon join the most powerful Navy in the world. Please draw your attention to the unit position at center deck. There is the review commander and staff. The review commander is responsible for conducting the graduation ceremony. Today's review commander is Seaman Alexander Frucci from Fort Collins, Colorado. Let's give him a hand. Performing today is the staff unit on their 6th week of training, the triple threat unit on their 7th week of training, and graduating is the state flags unit on their 8th and final week of training. These units are comprised entirely of recruits. During their night of arrival, all recruits are placed in divisions of 88 personnel and assigned their division commanders. Recruit division commanders form the backbone of recruit training and are the key individuals in the life of every recruit. Division commanders must serve as counselors, disciplinarians, administrators, and military leaders. Above all, they must show themselves as outstanding examples of military bearing, appearance, attitude, and behavior. Each division also has a recruit chief petty officer. This is the senior recruit who supervises the divisional staff positions and leads the division in the absence of their division commanders. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the graduating divisions, their division commanders, and recruit chief petty officers. As I introduce each division, they will raise the competitive flags that they've earned throughout their training. As I introduce each recruit chief petty officer, the flag representing their home state will also be raised. Please hold your applause until all introductions have been completed. I will be starting from their right. Division 177. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Scott Steele, Petty Officer First Class Jordan Barrett, Petty Officer First Class Linda Beck, and their Recruit Chief Petty Officer Seaman Dylan Chafin from Tallapoosa, Georgia. Division 178. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Kelly McAvoy, Petty Officer First Class Kevin Racy, Petty Officer Second Class Raquel Ganell, and their Recruit Chief Petty Officer Seaman Brianna Gonzalez from Bradenton, Florida. Division 179. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Timothy Nugent, Petty Officer First Class Stephanie Gibbs, Petty Officer First Class Derek Pyatt, and their Recruit Chief Petty Officer Seaman Evan Wharton from Tip City, Ohio. Division 180. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Moises Velez, Petty Officer First Class Jake Bowles, Petty Officer First Class Jennifer Ledesma, and their Recruit Chief Petty Officer Seaman Myron Brew from San Antonio, Texas. Division 181. Commanded by Petty Officer First Class Stella Wagwu, Petty Officer First Class Dwayne Husted, Petty Officer First Class Robert Horvath, and their Recruit Chief Petty Officer, Seaman Andrew Prorks from Hermosa Beach, California. Division 1, 8, 2. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Demetrius Williams. Petty Officer First Class Christian Arce. Petty Officer Second Class Jose Correa. And their Recruit Chief Petty Officer, Seaman Tyler Wagoner from Jackson, California. Division 1, 8, 3. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Michael DeCary. Petty Officer First Class Darren Southwick. Petty Officer Second Class Nash Bovard. And their Recruit Chief Petty Officer, Seaman Ryan Maspero from San Antonio, Texas. Division 1, 8, 4. Commanded by Senior Chief Petty Officer Donald Ezernak. Petty Officer First Class Marco Toledo. Petty Officer First Class Noel Diaz. And their Recruit Chief Petty Officer, Seaman Nathaniel Miller from Thornton, Colorado. Division 1, 8, 5. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Kevin Remmers. Petty Officer First Class Kyle Harrison. Petty Officer Second Class Courtney McCloskey. And their Recruit Chief Petty Officer, Seaman Kiana Azimi Hashemi from Santa Ana, California. Division 1, 8, 6. Commanded by Petty Officer First Class Jeremy Freeling. Petty Officer First Class John DeLeon. Petty Officer Second Class Tasha Cruz. And their Recruit Chief Petty Officer, Seaman Jennifer Valenzuela from Lambert, California. Division 8, 1, 4. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Chad Nevis. Petty Officer First Class Travis Bender. Petty Officer First Class Dominique Jackson. And their Recruit Chief Petty Officer, Seaman Grant Shelp from Montrose, Pennsylvania. Division 9, 1, 3. Commanded by Petty Officer First Class Cesare Koskukovich. Petty Officer First Class Roosevelt Sarah. Petty Officer First Class Precious Mulvaney. And their Recruit Chief Petty Officer, Seaman William Camps from Cleveland, North Carolina. On behalf of the Commanding Officer and staff of Recruit Training Command, we congratulate these division commanders and Recruit Chief Petty Officers on a job well done. In a moment, you will see the ceremonial side boys, bosun, and honor guard take their places for arrival honors. This time-honored tradition is our formal greeting to this morning's reviewing officer. When requested by the announcer, please stand for the arrival honors, marching on of the colors, the national anthem, and the invocation. As a reminder, military guests shall remain covered throughout the entire graduation ceremony. And ladies and gentlemen, one final note. As befitting the importance of this occasion, our ceremony is conducted in a formal manner. However, we do encourage you to participate in today's graduation ceremony by letting your applause show your sailors just how proud of them you are. Once again, welcome aboard.
Divisions! Attention!
Will the guests please rise and remain standing for the arrival of the official party? Recruit Training Command arriving.
Order! Arms!
Commander, Naval Service Training Command, arriving.
Order! Arms!
Chief of Naval Personnel, arriving.
Order! Arms!
The guests may be seated.
Right shoulder! On! Go! Raise! March! Right! Face! Forward! March!
Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to let you know that there's no danger. The fire alarm went off due to the smoke from the guns. We will continue with our ceremony. Thank you.
Color Guard! Parade the colors!
Will the guests please rise? Hand salute. salute. Ready, 2. Chaplain Marshman will offer this morning's invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we come before you with hearts full of gratitude for what you have enabled these sailors to accomplish. Thank you for the sacrifice of all those who have poured their lives into each sailor who is standing here before us today. We ask that you bless their parents, grandparents, siblings, and all other loved ones who have helped form them into the men and women they are today. Would you be with their RDCs who have worked tirelessly over these past 8 weeks and give them rest as they recover from this grueling training schedule. God, we are excited for the future that lies before these sailors. We ask that you give them success in their future training and further preparation for the fleet. May they be further developed into honorable, committed, and courageous sailors. Please go before them and use them mightily to defend freedom, promote justice, and defend the United States of America. In your name we pray. Amen.
It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to Midway Ceremonial Drill Hall. Today, we are commemorating the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Midway. At Recruit Training Command, this annual event rests a little closer to our hearts because, well, as you can see, we are standing in a building named after this very important part of our Navy's history. The Battle of Midway is often referred to as the turning point in the Pacific, where the campaign in the Pacific had a momentum shift, and our Navy's defensive posture became an insurmountable offense. We at Recruit Training Command also know that not only was history made at this small island, but modern naval warfare itself was changed, and that the strategy behind the victory at Midway was something more. Today, as we gather and commemorate the significance of the Battle of Midway and honor the veterans who served in it, we also celebrate the battle's evolving legacy as a part of our Navy's history. A legacy established the week of June 4 through 7, 1942, when warfighters in the Pacific engaged in battle after having prepared the battle space using the most timely intelligence, calculating the odds given the enemy's order of battle. In considering Midway's legacy, we consider Midway's first namesake, an aircraft carrier, which was commissioned only 3 years after the battle itself. The USS Midway served as a home for multiple crews through both peace and combat operations, having served in both Vietnam and the 1991 Persian Gulf War. The Midway Ceremonial Drill Hall honors this namesake as well, carrying on the legacy for years to come. With us today, as we commemorate the Battle of Midway, we have the next generation of sailors and their family members who can now clearly see before them just how a naval legacy evolves from being a pivotal moment in history to being the inspiring namesake of a warship that deploys to defend freedom and democracy around the world, and a ceremonial drill hall where today we see the future of our naval forces. History is marked, and naval heritage is reaffirmed for generations. Here and now, we can all see the importance of why this heritage is deliberately passed into the hands of the next generation, who now train for war and must be inspired to find new ways of meeting challenges, of engaging a complex mission, which may necessitate their participation in either combat or humanitarian operations, directly or indirectly, or in a critically enabling capacity. As we commemorate Midway, we consider the legacy and its continuing ability to inspire us and wonder if, maybe one day, we ourselves will serve at a moment or a place like Midway. And will we serve well enough to advance military history or leave a historical marker that is embodied in the name of a building or on the hull of a proud naval vessel? We all should wonder if we will ever serve in such an honorable way, that it leaves a mark that sears itself into the culture of generations of sailors and their families to come. For now, we have Midway as our marker to serve a strong example of who we are and why we exist, so that well into the future, sailors will continue to stop during the week of June 4th through 7th of every year and consider how naval legacies are made, why they are timelessly cherished generation after generation, and reflect on what legacy they will leave. Now, I would ask for a brief moment of silence to honor these brave sailors who fought during the Battle of Midway, who selflessly served on the USS Midway, and for those sailors who have answered the call to go in harm's way in defense of a grateful nation. Thank you.
Our guests may be seated. At this point, the commanding officer would issue orders and instructions to the unit commanders. Then the unit commanders would face about and relay the information to their divisions. Today's events demonstrate how orders are passed through the chain of command.
Divisions! Report! Very well. 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 All divisions present or accounted for, sir.
Very well. The sailors creed! Good morning, Captain. I present the graduating divisions. Request permission to commence the review. Very well. Commence the review. Aye, aye, sir. Parade! Rest! Sound off!
for amber waves of grain,
for purple mountain majesties above the frozen plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. We stand our colors race and hue, but stand we all in navy blue. In navy blue. We serve the red, the white, the blue. America. We are you. America.
Commanders reporting, sir.
Very well. Good morning. I'm Captain Mike Garrick, Commanding Officer of Recruit Training Command. I welcome you to this morning's recruit graduation ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where our Navy heritage meets the future and where these young men and women enter the profession of arms. Division 931 graduates today. They are the state's flag units, providing the 50 state flags, District of Columbia, and U.S. territory flags, Drum Corps, and Color Guard. Please join me in giving them a hand for their outstanding performances. Welcome to our reviewing officer, Vice Admiral Robert P. Burke, Chief of Naval Personnel, Rear Admiral Stephen Evans, Commander, Naval Service Training Command, and our guest of honor, Captain James F. Elizaris, LDO CWO Community Leader. I would also like to welcome and recognize the veterans in our audience for their service to our country. Would our veterans please stand? I would also like to take a moment to remember the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Midway. Most of the sailors who fought at the Battle of Midway were volunteers like these. In many cases, they were armed with obsolete and inadequate weapons, but they held the line near a tiny atoll in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. With their blood, their sweat, and for 307, their lives, they bought time for the United States to mobilize the people, resources, and equipment necessary to ultimately win the war. It is right, it is fitting that we honor their spirit and their legacy here today in Midway Drill Hall by welcoming our newest shipmates into the ranks. I am pleased to welcome the families and friends of today's graduates who have come here today to share in this significant milestone with our newest sailors. The men and women of Recruit Training Command provide the United States Navy basically trained, physically fit, and sharply disciplined sailors like those whom you see before you. They and others like them serve as the backbone of our naval forces. They give our Navy its combat edge, and they enable us to help keep this nation secure. These sailors have successfully completed 8 weeks of demanding recruit training. They have recently demonstrated their knowledge and their courage during battle stations. They have earned the right to wear the uniform recognized throughout the world as a symbol of freedom. This training group is ready to graduate and serve in the world's most powerful Navy. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you 792 of the newest and sharpest sailors in the United States Navy.
Recruit Training Command's competitive system among individual recruits and divisions promotes teamwork, attention to detail, and pride in accomplishment. Divisions performing above standards throughout their training are awarded recognition flags in the following mission areas: academic achievement, military drill, compartment readiness, and physical fitness. These flags are carried as a visible symbol of the division's success. Each flag indicates that your sailors, individually and as teams, met performance standards in one or more mission areas.
Parade! Rest!
Vice Admiral Burke will now present this week's individual awards, and he will be joined on the drill deck by our commanding officer, Captain Garrick, Commander, Naval Service Training Command, Rear Admiral Evans, and our guest of honor, Captain Elizaris. For achieving the highest overall academic score during recruit training, Seaman Na Zhao, Division 182 from San Gabriel, California, has earned the Academic Excellence Award, which is sponsored by the Lake Defiance chapter of the Illinois Society of the Sons of the American Revolution. Seaman Zhao receives a letter of commendation from the commanding officer. Well done, sailor. For having displayed extraordinary qualities best expressing the American spirit of honor, initiative, and loyalty, Seaman Nathaniel Allen, Division 814 from Thomaston, Georgia, is awarded the Navy League Award, which is sponsored by the Navy League of the United States. Seaman Allen is presented with a commemorative plaque and a letter of commendation from the commanding officer. Well done, sailor. Constructionman Callaway Gaynor, Division 181 from Fayetteville, Georgia, is a winner of the United Service Organization Award for best exemplifying the spirit and intent of the word shipmate. Constructionman Gaynor is given a commemorative plaque from the United Service Organization. Well done, sailor. Seaman Jackson Alleman, Division 814 from Kansas City, Missouri, is a recipient of the Military Order of the World Wars Award of Merit. This award is presented for meritorious performance during recruit training. Seaman Alleman is presented with a commemorative plaque from the Military Order of the World Wars. Well done, sailor. The Military Officers Association Leadership Award is presented to Seaman Sammy Atkins, Division 179 from Detroit, Michigan, for demonstrating exceptional tenacity and professionalism. Seaman Atkins is awarded a letter of commendation from our commanding officer. Well done, sailor. Seaman Jared Mills, Division 814 from Hope Mills, North Carolina, is recipient of the Navy Club of the United States of America Military Excellence Award for best exemplifying the qualities of enthusiasm, devotion to duty, military bearing, and teamwork. This award places him at the pinnacle of today's newest sailors. He is awarded a flag letter of commendation. Seaman Mills, the staff of Recruit Training Command, salute you as the finest of this group of graduates. Well done, sailor.
Sean!
It is appropriate to recognize such outstanding individual accomplishments by these sailors with a round of 3 cheers. The adjutant will lead all graduating divisions in 3 cheers for this morning's award winners.
Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip.
I have the distinct pleasure this morning of introducing our reviewing officer, Vice Admiral Robert P. Burke. Vice Admiral Burke assumed duties as the Navy's 58th Chief of Naval Personnel on May 27, 2016. He oversees the efforts of Navy Recruiting Command, Navy Personnel Command, and Naval Education and Training Command, comprising over 26,000 employees engaged in the recruiting, personnel management, training, and development of all U.S. Navy personnel. He holds a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in electrical engineering from Western Michigan University and the University of Central Florida. A career submariner, Vice Admiral Burke has served aboard both attack and ballistic missile submarines and commanded at every level. He was the commanding officer of USS Hampton, served as Commodore, Submarine Development Squadron 12 in Groton, Connecticut, and was Commander, Submarine Group 8 in Naples, Italy. As a flag officer, Vice Admiral Burke has served as Deputy Commander, U.S. 6th Fleet, Director of Operations, U.S. Naval Forces Europe, Africa, and Director, Military Personnel Plans and Policy. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm Recruit Training Command welcome to an outstanding sailor, Vice Admiral Robert P. Burke.
Well, good morning. Admiral Evans, thanks for the invitation to speak here today. I got to tell you, there's nothing more important to our Navy than our people. When we talk in our military planner, Washington, D.C. jargon, we talk about our nation's asymmetric advantage. And that's what we mean when we talk about our people. Our people are our asymmetric advantage in an increasingly challenging world. So for me, as the Chief of Naval Personnel, it truly is a privilege to be here this morning at the quarterdeck of the Navy on such an important day for these young men and women, where we welcome our newest sailors into the Navy. Congratulations to all of you. Let's have a big round of applause for these newest sailors, please. And I have to tell you, working in Washington, D.C. Can make you a little jaundiced. Turning on the news makes you a little sometimes cynical. But watching these sailors today, the band, the chorus, the drill team, kind of restores your faith in everything that's right about America. So it's good to see it. For the parents and the families in the audience, I have to thank you as well. You've all played an extremely vital role in these young men and women's lives because you've supported them, you've molded them into the people that they've become. I know that your sons, daughters, husbands, wives, significant others, they're going to talk to you after you're reunited later this morning, and they're going to try to explain to you the enormous impact the past several weeks has had on their lives. I'd ask you to listen to them, listen to the enthusiasm in their voices, their pride, and know that while they've changed, the full transformation has only just begun. What you're going to hear them talking about are the ideals of service before self, honor, courage, and commitment. And what you're going to see going forward is an awakening within them, the empowerment of belonging to something larger than oneself, and the pride of knowing that they are part of an organization that really is designed to make the world a better place. These past few weeks have no doubt been hard for them. The program has been rigorous, and it's demanded more from them than they probably thought was possible, as our recruit division commanders and the instructors and staff here at the United States Navy's Recruit Training Command shaped them into sailors. But each of them has overcome any doubts as they repeatedly answered the call to duty. You should be proud of them, and I know I am. And to the team here at Recruit Training Command, Admiral Evans, Captain Garrick, and especially to the Recruit Division commanders and the staff at RTC, you've done a phenomenal job at the most important job in the Navy. This is hard work, and it takes the best that we have. I'm very proud of what you've done here as well. To the graduates, I know you've heard this before, but you're no longer recruits. You are now sailors. And you've heard this before, but I'm going to say it again. You're not just any sailors. You are sailors in the United States Navy. Which is the finest Navy to have ever sailed the seas. You've chosen to serve our country at a time when it is most needed, when America has to show an extremely strong presence throughout the world. You've taken on the responsibility of defending our nation and have earned not only my respect, but the respect of a grateful nation. And no matter what happens from this day forward, you'll be part of a very elite organization with a very rich history and tradition that goes back beyond even the beginning of our nation. You are much more than a citizen now. You've proven yourselves worthy of wearing the uniform and all that it symbolizes throughout the world, because you wear the cloth of the nation, and because of that, you bear more responsibility. You're going to be respected for that uniform that you wear. You'll be credited for the work ethic, the intellect, the warrior spirit, the resourcefulness of all of those that have gone before you. And even after you leave the Navy, we all do someday, folks are going to have a certain expectation of what you bring to the table. And I have to tell you, I'm envious of each of you. I'm envious of the career upon which you are about to embark, and of the opportunities that lie ahead. But to be clear, there's no shortage of hard work or challenges that are going to be handed to you. There's going to be some tough days, too. We're going to ask things of you that are going to cause you to reach deep within yourselves to answer the bell. You will have had to have done the homework. You need to have learned your trade. You need to have studied. And you have to be positioned to seize the opportunities that come your way, just like those folks at the Battle of Midway. So as you progress in your careers, be ready. But don't forget to make time to do it right at home as well. Take care of your families, yourselves, and it's okay to stop and smell the roses along the way occasionally too. So Godspeed, fair winds, and following seas. And congratulations to the newest sailors in the United States Navy.
Drummers, post!
Vice Admiral Burke will now receive the salute of the graduating divisions, and he will be joined on the drill deck by our commanding officer, Captain Garrick. Please remain seated until your graduates have been placed on liberty. flags. Post. Section leaders, fall out and retrieve outer garments. Midway Ceremonial Drill Hall will be closing at the conclusion of today's graduation. Please check the area around you to ensure you have all your possessions. For those families with strollers, please retrieve them as you exit the drill hall. Thanks again to each and every one of you for joining us on this most memorable of Navy days. And without further delay, now hear this, Liberty Call, Liberty Call, fall out. Midway Ceremonial Drill Hall will be closing in 10 minutes.